So what can you say about this?
Well, I would start by saying it's unfortunate, in fact, very, very unfortunate, and may God in His infinite mercy grant the soul of the dead ones eternal rest, and then the ones that are wounded, I pray that they heal quickly, and then the traumatized also get control of themselves and things like that. Well, to the government, to the people first, generally, I say that we go into serious prayers, and then we should also be security conscious of our own selves within our community and the people. While to the government, I sympathize with them, but then I think they need to do more. And also to the security agencies, I think there is also lapses.
Okay. We pray the Almighty hears all of these prayers, because I'm sure that Nigerians are also praying. But what do you think is the reason for these attacks?
Well, you could put up so many things to form up the reason for the attack. First, you know, the issue of banditry and kidnapping has been rampant within the northern Nigeria, most especially northwest, and even within the northwest, where you know that Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto axis, as well as Niger, a little bit of the north central, is also getting its own fair share of this rampant kidnapping. And you know that they do these things for money. It's kidnapping for ransom, as we know. But what is coming up now, it's indicating that it is getting beyond kidnapping for ransom. It is really becoming a real terror attack. Because if you are just kidnapping to get ransom, then why killing? You should have just come in, kidnap those that you want to kidnap, go and begin to ask for ransom. But you kidnap those and went with them, and then you kill those that are armless. You know they are armless, you know there's nothing they could do, yet you open fire on them and begin to sporadically fire them. You begin to ask question, what is really happening? Who are the people behind these things? Well, you know that they are the bandits that are coming in, but where are these bandits getting these weapons and ammunition that they are using? Who is telling them how to attack, when to attack, and where to attack? Who is giving them the technical know-how on how to achieve result? And also, what is the position of the security agencies in terms of getting credible intelligence to nip a situation before it occurs? Why is it that it is only when it occurs that is when you see reinforcement and a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of coming up and statements being made, while lives and properties have been lost? I just saw the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, lamenting that he has asked his colleagues, he's blaming his colleagues that he has asked them to approve a little or below 3 billion naira for surveillance camera that will give every idea of movement and whatever plan within the rail line axis, and it was not approved. And that he has warned that if that is not done, this thing might consume life, and that they hasn't done it. And
would that have solved anything?
It would have reduced the risk by at least there will be source of information, even though the information will be within the rail line and some certain radius before the rail line, but it would have assisted in indicating that something is coming so that somebody somewhere will act. But there's no such things there. That is number one. Number two, we have a high number of security agencies, different sectors of security agencies that work on intelligence gathering and then working on information, as well as counter-terrorism or counter-insurgency and things like that. But yet nobody saw it coming until when it happens. That was when they all went out trying to save situation when the worst has been done already. And you begin to ask a question, who is not doing what, or who is doing what but not doing it the way it's supposed to be doing, or what equipment is it there that is required that has not been provided? And if they are provided, who are the people that are supposed to use those equipment that are not really using? If the equipment are there, the people that are there, then what is it that is making these things to be happening, and then they got scot-free? I have not heard so far that any of the bandit, or I will not even call them bandit, terrorists, have been arrested, apprehended, or so far killed out of the attack. But everywhere it is known that they have succeeded, they have done what they needed to do, they have succeeded, and they flee away with it. Not only fleeing away, but flee away with a lot of human beings that nobody can even account for. That is really very dangerous for a nation. That is very dangerous for our country, and it's also I am telling you, a lot of questions are being asked.
Yeah.
Maybe some of us are the ones that will be saying these things outrightly, but if you go there, a lot of questions are being asked. People are disbelieving a lot of things. People are blaming a lot of people. Names are being mentioned in blames. When you go to the street and then you listen to conversation of people, you hear them calling names and blaming those people for the problem that is happening. Well, some of them might be saying what they are saying out of anger, some out of frustration, some out of they believe that these are the people that are supposed to be responsible for the protection of life and property, but then what is happening? But in all of it, I think the issue lies totally with the security agencies now. What is really happening? Why is it that from the beginning of the incubation of this plan to the time of the planning proper, to the period of the execution, no security agent from all the security agencies that have been able to know that there is an incubation of a bad plan, then when they were doing the planning and about the execution, no one knows until when they carry out the attack and succeeded, and then before coming. These are the top questions that are being asked, and a lot of accusation and counter-accusation are out there flying everywhere, and I think the security agencies put their heads together and work as a team, work on credible intelligence, work on information, involve almost everybody. In any case, security is everybody's business. It's not just about the security agencies themselves or the government as a government, but it's everybody's business. First, as an individual, you need to look at yourself, secure your family, secure your clan, secure your community, your locality, and then secure the state and by extension the nation. So all hands must be on deck to be able to succeed in terms of security. But that can only be done if the security agencies themselves provide the opportunity for the generality of Nigerians to get involved in issues that has to do with security, most especially credible information. Because with credible information, you'll be able to stop whatever evil plan that is being incubated. Without credible information, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you raised a lot of questions, and you know, in my head I was thinking, so whom should we direct these questions to?
We should direct it to the President Commander-in-Chief, because he is the father of the nation.
Okay, fine. So now we'll go into government's effort in addressing insecurity in the country, in line with what the Vice President has said. Well,
the honest truth about it is that you can see the honesty of purpose, you can see the sincerity in his expression. When you look at his face, you know that what he's saying it from the deep of his heart. He's not just saying it from his mouth, trying to make lip service. When you look at him psychologically, you see that he's honest about what he's expressing. He meant what he's saying, and the feelings, the deep feelings, the sad feelings in him, you can see it in him as he is talking. So that is on one aspect, that is on human to human. But governmentally, when you look at it, you could also bring in the president is worried, he expressing displeasure and giving the marching orders to the head of security agencies. That also, he's been honest about it as a president and commander-in-chief, as an individual. But the problem is the other line of the implementation. That is where the challenges are coming from. When you saw the minister, if you go back and review and listen to the minister, compare with what the vice president is saying, you will see that there's differences, like you said. The differences is that one is saying no, the other one is saying yes. The vice president is saying that we needed to. The minister is saying that I have requested for, and it was not granted. We needed to, I have requested for. There are two different things, and they express two different opinion, and also there are two different phrases. So when you look at it critically, you discover that each is trying to express the best of his own best in terms of expression of honesty and sincerity. For a minister to come out and say that I have asked for it, but my colleagues and some people will refuse it, allow it to happen, and I have warned that there's going to be death on this thing if it is not done, and it has happened, and he shows like he did like this. Well, it's not my fault. That is what he's trying to express, that he has done what he needed to do. And clearly on a national television, if he says some people among my colleagues are not, then it means there are some group of people that even while he tried to make sure that this is done, it was not allowed to see the light of the day. Possibly the vice president is expressing the same way, but more maturely and more technically and more administratively. That is why he's giving it a different expression. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, we will do all that is needed. That is the statement or the word of the vice president, which means all that is needed has not been done yet. And the minister is saying, I have asked for and I have warned that this is going to happen, and they didn't do it. Some of my colleagues, they didn't blame the president or the vice president because it is a council.
But
in that council, there's naturally going to be debate.
The game is causing a lot of loss of lives, property, and so do we have to continue to toe this line?
You don't have to continue to toe the line of blame game. You need to do the needful. What I would have required, what I would have loved, which I know they will not do unless it gets to the nip of it, is for the minister to come out and mention that among my colleagues, this person and this person and this person, when I was making that presentation, objected to it. Then Nigerians will now know who are their enemies, even within the Federal Executive Council. Because naturally, you know, the president, of course, everybody knows he will do everything humanly possible to make sure that there's security, because that is the basis with which he is elected, based on security, economy, and corruption. These are the three cardinal principles. Naturally, the vice president is with the president on everything that the president do. He will support the president 100%. Everybody knows he's a loyalist of the president. So the two of them, yes, whatever they express it honestly. And if a minister is coming to say so, naturally, you know, he's not directing it to the president or the vice president. He said some of his colleagues, which means his colleague, the ministers, or some other members of the executive council or whatever are the ones that are dragging his feet back to be able to achieve this. We would have required him to name those people so that Nigerians will know their enemies. But even if that is not done, then the best is that those that cause this because they refuse to allow it to happen, God is there and is going to judge them, and that we leave them with God. But until then, the needful should be done. Now that the president has given a marching order, we heard the word of the vice president, we know the two of them speak with one voice, and then let the word be matched with action. When they give the instruction, they should not just give instruction and sit back. They should give instruction and do a follow-up, a strict follow-up of compliance in ensuring that the instruction as given is being complied to 100%. 99.999% is not acceptable. It has to be 100%.
Okay, so probably the needful might be, you know, ensuring that our rail tracks are secured. So how do you think this can be achieved?
Well, it means a lot of things, honestly, because right now these guys have already discovered that they can do these things and get away with it, because they have just done it and got away with it. The last one that they did and got away. Who was caught? Nobody was caught out of that action. They did this one and got away with it. We hope and pray that the security agencies will get to them and then do the needful on them. Until then, the blame game will continue, but what they needed to do to stop it means a lot. First, you have to involve the security agencies, have to come together as a team. Let them know that there is no competition. We are Nigerians. They are appointed on that office base because they are Nigerians and to secure Nigeria and Nigeria. So they should come together and work in synergy and work in cooperation, work with understanding, work with commitment, work with patriotism to ensure that the lives and property of Nigeria and Nigerians is purely and surely and 100% protected, because that is what the oath of office they took, and that is their responsibility. That is why they are being paid with taxpayers' money on a monthly basis as salary, and whatever that come their way is because of that. So they needed to do their job. That is on one aspect. On the other aspect, the state government, not only Kaduna in case, because this issue is security problem is almost everywhere in Nigeria. The state governors needed to cooperate fully with the security agencies. There must be also synergy between security agencies in each of the state and the state governors. Same goes to government of the state and the citizens of the state. The governors and the citizens need to also have a synergy and cooperation, working synergy and cooperation. It is more like a master-servant kind of relationship that should be. And the leaders, the governors, the security heads, and any other person that is occupying whatever position, either elective or appointive, should know that he is only a servant of the people. The people are the masters. The citizens are his masters, not him seeing himself as the master of the people. He should see himself as a servant of the people and provide that servant leadership and let the people be the ones to decide or say this is the way to go. Well, the government can fine-tune whatever opinion or suggestion or advice as offered by the people, but after receiving they can fine-tune and implement. But let it not be that they will be they are the masters of all. They are the ones that know, any other person don't know.
Right,
if we do that, I want to believe that it will assist in pushing away. My last advice is to the governor of Kaduna State, Man Nasru Ahmed El-Rufai, and I will, if I were to be Man Nasru El-Rufai, believe me, I will go to that Jire and that Katari. I will level those communities to the ground. Every standing structure will go down. If you ask me why, I will say that before the coming of the train, in the last 6 years, you know, I know, every Nigerian know, that the road between Abuja to Kaduna, those axes, just within an interval of about 40 kilometers, has always been the red spot. It has always been a red spot. It has always been killing, destruction, kidnapping, armed robbery, and the rest. Now the rail has come, thinking it will give succor. The same axis, we have been having problem with the rail line. So somebody is hiding something somewhere. There's a conspiracy theory within that axis. So if I were to be the governor, believe me, I will bring every structure within those two communities down so that you disorganize them, you dislodge them before they reorganize themselves and begin to think of doing something. Possibly it will take another long period of time.
And I'm sure.
And if you listen to the opinion as expressed by the people, they are also saying almost what I have said before we listen to them. And that is the opinion of Nigerians. And some of, like I said, there's a lot of hues and cries, there's a lot of complaints. Yes, the security agencies did their best, as lamented by the people that are in the train, even though after like 1 hour of sporadic and continuous non-stop firing by the terrorists, because we will no longer even address them as bandits, but they are terrorists, because that is act of terrorism. After about 1 hour or more of continuous non-stop firing by the terrorists, then the appearance of the security agencies actually assisted in sending them back. But sending them back is just one thing. They have already succeeded in carrying those that they needed to convey. I was listening to one of the victims, and he was lamenting that among those that were kidnapped, carried away by the terrorists, one jumped through the window. They even stopped trying to fire him. He had a broken hand, and then others said, let's move on, forget about it. That one is even done, that he has been injured. So they left. So that's, at least they comfortably, I repeat, they comfortably carry out their atrocities and left peacefully unhindered. And that is very, very dangerous.
Well,